Fade in. A young woman, her hair tossed and her blouse torn on one shoulder, runs through the tree line into the overgrown lawn of a dilapidated old mansion. She wipes her tear-stained face with the back of her hand as she slows down to a slow walk. She glances back over her shoulder with her eyes wide. No, she can't see anyone following her. But still it feels like she's being chased. The shadows shift as a gentle wind pushes and pulls the tree limbs overhead. A quick shot of the full moon. An owl somewhere in the distance hoots. She reaches into her back pocket and pulls out her cell phone. The screen is cracked but glowing. But there's no reception bars. She winces and shakes her fists in frustration.
Come on, please.
But she can't make a call. She cautiously walks on. The camera pans. An old car, large and boxy and straight out of the 1970s, appears parked on the edge of the property. Catching sight of it, she gasps, then bursts into a full-on sprint. But as she takes off, a large figure breaks out through the tree line. The moonlight finds him illuminating an enormous man wearing a firefighter's helmet. The tinted visor blocks out the features of his face. He's holding a vicious-looking grappling hook in his left hand. After a beat, he runs towards the girl. She makes it to the car and fumbles for the driver's side door. For a moment she fears that it's locked, but then the old mechanism clacks and squeaks and the door opens. She leaps inside and slams the heavy door behind her. The killer arrives outside the window a millisecond later. She punches the door locked down. The killer punches the window. It cracks but doesn't break. She reaches up to the sun visor and flips it down. A pair of keys fall into her lap. The killer lines up the grappling hook to the window and pulls back, ready to smash it to pieces. With shaking hands, she frantically jangles the key into the ignition and turns it. What do you suppose the chances are of the car starting? 0. Of course. But why is that? Why are all the cliches I just ticked off so prevalent? Let's go through them real quick to showcase why they work in this narrative, and then we'll discuss why we're so damn tired of them. First, the final girl. There has long been a prohibition on the idea of a young woman being left or doing anything on her own, part pure sexism and part unfortunate acknowledgement that women are victimized more often and in more ways than men. 2 women in the same scene wouldn't feel as scary. Either would a single man, certainly not a mixed group. This is especially true when you consider traditional beauty standards. Not that less attractive people can't be in danger, but there's a sense that a sexy young woman faces more potential for violence against her. I'm not judging the validity of any of this, but ignoring the social norms is a bit stupid here. Next, the torn clothes. Seems obvious, right? The insinuation of sexual violation is all over slasher movies. In the typical slasher film chase scene, even the smallest amount of skin that ordinarily would be covered sets off warning bells in viewers. I bet you can come up with a dozen examples in your head right now. The setting. Secluded places like forests and condemned properties fall outside the jurisdiction of society's normal rules. Nature is wild and dangerous, and abandoned houses, whether in a haunted house story or a slasher, serve as a reminder that sometimes attempts to take nature fail and civilization is forced to retreat, leaving behind ruins. Whatever unseen tragedy happened to these places, it was bad enough that no one bothered to rebuild. It's scary because it means that sometimes the good guys lose. Tears. Horror isn't just about scares. In truth, crying is a normal reaction to trauma after the events are over. In the moment, with the terror bubbling up, we tend to go into fight or flight, not hysterics. We'll cry later at the sense of violation, if we survive, of course, but horror is about all the dark emotions. Crying evokes loss and grief. Movie makers are adding flavor to your emotional taste buds to enhance the experience. The cell phone. If ever there was a totem of modernity, it's the smartphone. They've become avatars of our very being. Everything you kept in your high school locker, from the books of the subjects you study to the rock band mini poster taped to the inside of the door, is now in your phone. So is all of your friends, your memories, your sense of security, probably even your money. And of course, it's a way to call out for help. Clearly, this critical tool has to be lost, or broken, or dead from no battery life, because it's the key safety net in modern life. It's more dead than the best friend character who went to investigate that sound in the basement. The car. Cars don't start in horror movies for the same reason as cell phones. But there's an additional wrinkle. Not only can the car solve the problem altogether, even more so than the phone, but it also points out how ill-suited most people are to survive. If you own a car, wouldn't you expect yourself to be able to change a tire or replace a battery? Since the 60s, horror movies have cruelly pointed out how essentially helpless most of us are, even with all of the technological advantages we have. Side note, I can change tires and car batteries. So, if all these little details and plot elements connect so firmly to audiences, why are we so tired of seeing them? Gratuitous overuse? Sure, absolutely. Even more so when the same excuses are trot out over and over without even slight variation. Do any of us ever want to see another character wandering around a room holding up her cell phone as if the foot of air above her head made all the difference in why she didn't have reception? It's more than that, though. We've changed as moviegoers. The tropes annoy us because the world around us annoys us. We're all guilty of spending too much time looking at handheld screens, shopping at big chain department stores, not servicing our cars often enough, spending too much on too little. We go to the movies to be entertained, not to have our hypocrisy thrown in our faces. The modern world is exhausting. We want movies to allow us to escape for a while. It wasn't always this way. But somewhere along the lines we ran out of runway. What scares us has changed, but Hollywood hasn't yet cracked that new code. Subjects like identity theft, cyberstalking, and addiction should be the new horror mainstays. And sometimes these definitely do show up. The Evil Dead remake smartly included addiction themes, and body snatching was the main theme of Get Out, but largely we're still dealing with men with knives and paranormal investigation. It'll change eventually. It always does. Oh, and just as you predicted, the old car didn't start.